You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your host with the dulcet Barry White-like tones, and with me, as always, is my partner. Even I couldn't keep a straight face on.
Where the hell did that come from?
I don't know, it just occurred to me as I was talking. Wanted to see if I could do it. How'd I do? Did it sound like Barry?
No.
No? I get in and sing, oh, baby, can't get enough. You know, give it up. No singing. Oh,
alrighty then.
Okay. So, and that's Rocco. So,
That's
all right. All right. But you know what? Even that laugh isn't enough to save you from the engineering joke of the week. All right. You ready for this one, Rocco?
I'm ready.
Got to put your thinking cap on here. Ready? What was the most groundbreaking invention in the history of construction?
I don't know. The bulldozer?
Close. The shovel.
There you go.
There you go. See? Groundbreaking. See? Oh, God. They're so bad. All right. All right, folks. What are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about construction scheduling tools today. So, look, construction scheduling, it's one of the most important functions in our world, and yet it is still a feature that almost every company out there struggles with. Look, any construction manager worth their weight understands the scheduling concept and, how to chart a critical path and adjust for delays and so on. And that's not really the issue. Right? The real problem lies in the technology behind construction scheduling and the time that it can take to make, intelligent updates to what is essentially a living, breathing document. Look, schedules change literally every single day. And it is not just enough to do an initial schedule and move on. You need to make constant changes and far more importantly to my mind, you have to be able to communicate those changes in your schedule and your costs to every single person on the job, right? Whether it's, from the owner to the bank to your boss and every single sub, right? Communicating and scheduling changes is what's going to make or break the budget on your construction project. And look, that's no surprise to anybody who works in this field, but the how of this is where we all seem to struggle. Let's face it, right? Skilled construction managers, they aren't always skilled tech folks. And many of them still schedule with pen and paper, or if you're lucky, they use an Excel worksheet. With the construction industry as it stands today, right, we're already short almost 500,000 workers, and nearly 50% of construction management personnel are preparing to retire in the next 5 years. Technology is the only realistic answer that we have to those kind of shortfalls. But the struggle is knowing, right, which technologies do we use, which program works best, and which ones are underperforming. Are the built-in schedulers in your construction management system enough, or do you need something else? And that's kind of what I want to get into on today's show. So Rocco, right, do you talk to a lot of construction clients who are still, I guess, struggling to find the right answer for their scheduling needs, or do you think most of them have it all sorted out already?
No, they struggle because there's no perfect solution out there, and they try to, try dabble in this, dabble in that, and then there's no perfect solution.
No, and I think it's a complex problem
to solve.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's a complex problem to solve, right? I mean, it's not. There's, everybody's got unique needs, and there's no perfect solution.
Yeah, and I think part of the issue that I see a lot is that, even within one company, because they don't want to mess with the construction managers. These are very skilled, highly qualified guys. They don't want to mess with them. They let each one of them do whatever they want on their own job, so that even within the same company, you can have 5 or 6 different methodologies going on at the same time, which really starts to add confusion to all of this.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, look, I'll start by, I guess, kind of addressing, right, one of the questions I asked earlier, which is, are the built-in schedulers in your big name construction management systems like, Procore and Autodesk Construction Cloud and Buildertrend and others, are they sufficient to the scheduling needs of a construction project? And look, the answer is just a flat no. They're just not, right? Most of these systems don't really offer a full-blown scheduling process. They're really just providing import functionality, right? Or basic file sharing of a schedule that you've developed in some other program. And the ones that do have a scheduling module, right, which is kind of a newer thing. Some of them are finally at least starting to look into this on a more reasonable level. They really aren't ready for prime time, and they really aren't likely to be for quite a few years. The scheduling processes that those systems are currently offering, they're really, small third-party tools that these companies have purchased, and they just kind of made them compatible within their CRM system, right? So the data will display in the main program. And I don't know that any of them really give you the type of detailed control that you will need to effectively manage, right, the 1,000,001 items that are constantly changing on an active construction site. I'll also say, all right, I'll add this in for conversation. I don't see this changing anytime soon, right? Simply because the scheduling tools in those big ERP type systems aren't in big demand. Right? To which you may say, well, why? Right? Because, like I said earlier, the lack of technical skills and the age of the bulk of our construction managers out there means that most of them are barely using the construction management software, even the big ERP ones, at all. Right? And they're certainly not taking the time away from their job sites to learn, an internalized scheduling system that doesn't really do what they need it to. Right? Construction scheduling, I'm trying to say, it requires a dedicated application, I think, right? One that goes beyond just, basic Gantt chart display and entering in some start and end times for particular line items. The software developers see the scheduling modules within their big ERP systems are not being used today, even though they're adding them. They see it as a low priority. Right. And the thing is that the schedulers in those systems can't be used until they're seen as a priority and better developed. Right. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts. And that's why I think there are still a lot of people out there who are scheduling the same way that they did 20 years ago. So Rocco, from your end, do you see a lot of people who are still using like Excel or Smartsheet or pen and paper for their scheduling?
Yep.
Oh, that's an easy answer.
It's as simple as that. Yeah, no, I mean, we actually did I think it was last week, we did a podcast on how Excel is still like is such a powerful tool and so heavily utilized. And this is one of the areas where we definitely see folks using Excel and still.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's just a lot of people out there are still staying that way. So look, for my money, a desktop application it's the best way to go to get people comfortable with construction scheduling technologies. Something that starts locally on their own machine, right, where your construction managers can learn the ins and outs of the process, and they can see how changes are applied with real-time results, right? In the simplest manner you can. It's the best starting point. And look, I get it. I understand that a desktop application isn't gonna handle all of the automatic notifications and the file sharing needs that we all dream about. But I think it's the right start point for construction managers who, as an industry, are lagging on making good use of these technologies. And yes, I agree. The long-term goal will be to automate the communication process and your notifications and so on, so everybody knows about scheduling changes via the cloud, and it'll integrate with your ERP, and it'll integrate with your accounting system. Those are great things, but I think it is too much to throw at your staff until they have really pinned down the basic, schedule creation and management processes on their local system with the desktop app, right? Where they have, files that they can open and close and they have direct access of, and they can see the results right then and there. The automation stuff, to my mind, it's step two, right? And I think that a lot of the struggle that we see in adoption is from trying to dump everything on, at once onto an already, overworked and undertrained construction management workforce. Right. So I tell you what, let's get a break in here for our sponsors for today. And when we get back, I want to get into the best programs and process recommendations that we have here at Zentech for advancing your construction scheduling processes. All right. So hang around, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. Hey everybody, it's Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants to talk to you guys today about our Procore support services, and in particular, what we do here at Zentech as certified consultants around Procore Analytics. All right, are you guys tired of spending your days wading through dry, text-based reports in Procore, trying to identify which jobs are over budget or behind schedule or have excessive change orders, right? Trying to find the formulas and facts that you need. Well, Procore Analytics allows you to take all of that data and present it right inside of Procore to all of your end users as custom-built graphics and displays and charts and just things that are easily readable that will update in real time. And Zentech Consultants specializes in helping you set Procore Analytics up within your own system. So Rocco, where can folks go to learn more about our Procore Analytics support services?
Yeah, just hit up our website at zentechconsultants.net. Give us a ring, 866-824-4459, or drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net, and check out our podcast. I think we even did a podcast on Procore Analytics.
I think we did. So there you go, folks. Remember that Zentech Consultants is a Procore certified consultant, and we specialize in helping you get the most out of your Procore system. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking about construction scheduling today. And I want to get into what I see as the best tool for you guys listening in both the short and in the long term, right? And I'm going to focus on one particular tool here. And that's because it is already the leading construction scheduling tool out there. And it has been for quite a while. Though I hear a lot of the new ERP tools and their salespeople kind of bad-mouthing it as out of date. And that tool, of course, is Microsoft Project, right? It is the granddaddy of construction scheduling technologies. And look, I know it has been around forever, and it does have a reputation of not always being user-friendly. But I think that rep is unwarranted. I think what happened is that a lot of people with scheduling talent, right, guys who are good at running their jobs, were just kind of thrown into that Microsoft Project pool with no training of any kind and told, oh, you know how to schedule, you can figure out the program, while still being expected to manage their construction jobs. And I think that fostered a lot of bad feelings and frustrations. And I think there was also a big breakdown in what was offered as, project training versus, real world applications. A lot of the available training for project over the years that I've seen has focused on how to use the software itself, right? Where the tools are, right? And how to use that tool rather than focusing on the construction scheduling process itself, right? And using project not as the primary focus of the training, but as an effective tool to make construction scheduling easier. So Rocco, do you see a lot of people using Project among our clients, and what's its overall reputation these days?
Yeah, we do, and we teach it, and help people set it up if necessary. So, um, it's definitely widely used, and it's pretty affordable. We should have looked up the pricing before we recorded the podcast because we actually do sell Microsoft Project, but I want to say it's under like $1,000 a license, right?
Yeah, actually, now most of it is tied in through the Microsoft 365. So I think you can get like on the recurring monthly plan or the annual plan. I think it's only like $50 a month. It's way cheaper.
Yeah, it's pretty affordable.
Yeah. So all right. So the first thing I guess that I'll point out about Microsoft Project, right, is that it meets my local installation requirement, right, or that I talked about in the first half of the show today. It can install on your local laptop or desktop, whatever you guys have going on, and your staff can use it, right in the field with little or no internet access, right? And I think this gives your users an opportunity to learn the correct scheduling processes, right? So they know how to comfortably use that tool before they have to get deeply involved in enterprise level collaboration and communication tools. And I think that that's a vital step in this process. Before you try to roll out a massive company-wide workflow, you really need to be certain that your construction managers are properly trained in using the basics of a very powerful scheduling tool like Microsoft Project. They need to know how to add and edit line items, and they've got to be able to go in and create resources for who's going to perform each task and how much is it going to cost for them to do these things, right? What's their availability and how do we track changes and baselines and critical paths and 100 other vital features that you need. They need the opportunity to work with sample data and understand how a small change impacts overall budgets and destroys your critical path, right? And then they have to get into different manners of tracking and reporting their progress and their delays in ways that are going to be understandable by everybody on the job, right? And not just this is the default Gantt chart, right? That thing we think of when we all think about project, right? You're starting with a desktop or a local version of Project. I think it's the key to ensuring that your people can work the program effectively in a production environment before you kind of set them loose at an enterprise level. Look at it like this. Right? If you want to teach your 17-year-old to drive on your local street, before you send them to drive in Manhattan during rush hour the Friday before a holiday, right? It's just a basic safety concern. And the same thing is true with your staff here. Start safe, train them well, and then move up and go forward to those full enterprise integrations and processes. So, Rocky, as you said before, we do train on Microsoft Project. What do we offer in terms of training and support to kind of help folks get their staff up to speed on scheduling processes with Microsoft Project?
Yeah, there's 3 classes that we offer: Microsoft Project Basics, Microsoft Project for the web, and then Microsoft Project for construction management. And the construction management course is more of a level 2 course. But these are all 8-hour classes that we split out into 2-hour sessions, usually once a week. And like all the other classes that we offer here at Zentech, we schedule them to run as public classes where we invite students from all over the country, and Canada also join, or we could schedule the classes to run specifically for your team. So that's the training, and then in terms of setup and configuration, that's usually done through our tech blocks that are prepaid support hours that could be used towards any of our services. So yeah, check out the details right on the website, zentechconsultants.net.
Nice. There you go. All right. So look, once you get your staff fully up to speed on Microsoft Project, you'll want to get into those cloud-based enterprise level scheduling features, right? And that means that, you want the ability to do things like, track all your employees and all your equipment and, who's available when, and request approval for their time from supervisors. You're even going to want to begin integrating, your timesheets and giving people automated or automated scheduling updates, right? As things happen. And you don't want to have to do that manually, right? Emailing everybody under the sun every time a change is made. And all of that's a tall order, right? And I'm sure, you guys listening, you're likely thinking that you need to go out and get some, all-encompassing ERP or spend thousands of dollars on some other, cloud-based super scheduling system. But here's the thing. Microsoft Project can handle all of that for you. Right? That's why I really like this system, right? Project lets you toggle back and forth between your desktop version and Project for the web and the Project Online tools. And yes, I get it. All those titles are confusing as hell. They all mix and match, and I have a hard time keeping it straight, and I don't want to go down the road of explaining each one to you because it gives me a headache. So, shame on the Microsoft marketing department for naming it that way. But all of those systems do tie together at some level, right? And they even integrate directly with Microsoft Planner, which is on the Microsoft 365 platform, right? It's a personal schedule tool so that people can track their own personal schedules across multiple jobs right out of the construction schedules. And the big thing I think that I want you guys to understand here is that Microsoft Project's web version, it gives you the ability to set up things at an enterprise level. In other words, you can build work crews and teams, right? And you can add in, individual tools and equipment that can be tracked across all your jobs for the whole company, right? In other words, if I wanted to use Rocco, not that Rocco ever does any actual work, but we'll pretend he does. If I want to go and use Rocco on one of my jobs for 2 months, right? Microsoft Project can tell me if he's available during that time, or if maybe he's already been scheduled on somebody else's job, right? It even lets me go in and request a reassignment and approval for that, from Rocco's supervisor to come work on my job, right? It's enterprise tools they're just staggering in how powerful they are, while still being really simple to set up and use, right? Beyond that, once you kind of move to the web, Project is handling, in the cloud, all the updating and notifications to the schedule in real time for everybody, who you give access to the schedule on your job, right? So, you can go ahead and you can automate, reports for your 2-week look ahead. And when something gets postponed, right, the affected staff or subs, right, they immediately get a notification and can see it, and they can respond back if that change is going to cause another problem for them, and best of all, Project on the web can be accessed and edited through any browser from any system, or it can let you continue handling all of the edits right in the desktop version, right, that you're training your people on and have gotten comfortable with, right? You just open up the desktop and just save the changes instantly out to the web via Microsoft 365. You just say, hey, save to web. And it just, boom, everything updates throughout the whole world. It's an incredibly powerful scheduling functionality. And really, I barely, in this show today, I barely kind of scraped the potential functionalities that the full version of Microsoft Project integrated with Project, Web App, or PWA as they call it, what those two together can bring to your firm. And strong recommendation for everybody listening, you guys, give Rocco a call and we can set up a one-on-one talk, with you guys about how Microsoft Project can integrate into your scheduling process and help you get your guys working towards those, long-held dreams of that fully blown integrated automated system, folks. All right. And with that, we're going to get out of here and we'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.